but I want to stress this, all right, because this is really important. I don't care. I
Yeah,
do
no,
not care about the All-Star game at all.
Joining us live here from his armchair, I am assuming. Welcome on in, Mr. Matt Doyle.
The armchair has always been a lie. I actually sit in a fake Ames chair. You know, those like mid-century modern Don Draper type chairs.
Okay.
My wife got me one of those like 7-8 years ago when we moved here. So it's the armchair has always been a lie. I'm just living a Don Draper life instead.
Well, you know, it's the myth is as important as the reality, right?
True.
At this point, and this is the job we do. Thank you very much for coming on, Matt. We appreciate you doing this. Obviously, you know, lots of American soccer fans know it's been a period of transition for you. And I promised Rob that I would ask you the question that kind of prompted me to invite you on today, which was you were joking. Hey, maybe I'm going to get drunk and write about Pro Rel. So,
oh boy,
do you want to talk about Pro Rel? It's a big topic on this show, as you can imagine. USL is doing stuff, Matt.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they manage to pull off, if they manage to pull it off. It would instantly make the discourse a lot more lively and sort of rekindle a flame that has slowly flickered and died over the past, I want to say 7-8 years. As for MLS, as of now, I don't think there's any point in talking about it, but who knows? Things can change. You know, there's obviously going to be an overhaul in the front office.
I'm going to stop you for a second because yes, right. Overhaul in the front office, maybe that, but even Don has started to step back from the hard, we're never doing it. It's not even a thing we will ever consider, which I don't know what you read into that. And you would know him a little bit better than us.
Yeah. I haven't spent enough time doing the Kremlinology on all of that. I assume that there are discussions about it, both at the board and, you know, in the 7th floor at MLS HQ, which, you know, was always above my pay grade and now is a completely different company. I just, from everything I've heard over the years, I would be very, very surprised because, look, it's a valuation game, right? Like, if you look at the valuation of MLS clubs, franchises, whatever you want to call them, they go up. And everybody laughs at that Forbes article every year, but then you look at what Sporting KC sells for, and you look at, like, they're actually getting sold for more than the valuations in those Forbes articles. And, like, that points to something. Look, there's a lot of stuff that's broke. That points to something that is clearly not broke or broken in the way things are going with this league.
Yeah, well, I think that's fair. I also think that it becomes, you know, the thing that some American soccer fans like to do, which is look really closely at everything, starts to lose value as an exercise when this stuff keeps happening. Clubs keep getting sold. The valuations keep going up. Billionaires keep wanting to get involved. Doesn't matter why. Like, at some point, it doesn't matter why. Like, yes, you could say, oh, it's a shell game or it's a pyramid. You can throw all those things out if you want to. But in the absence of evidence that anything comes crashing down anytime soon, I'm not sure it's worth talking about all that much. And that's not of MLS, Matt, from my perspective. That's just being realistic about this.
I mean, I think it's actually more of a reflection on the society as a whole and, like, the greater and greater concentration of wealth in that top, you know, unreachable stratosphere where it's like, okay, I'm going to buy the next toy and I'm going to buy, and they just can't for increasingly absurd, you know, astronomical valuations. And if you can do that, and it's like, why not? And then it cuts back to, like, well, then we're not really talking about soccer anymore. We're talking about, you know, life in late stage capitalism. And that's probably a different podcast.
We verge in those directions on occasion. We do.
I have my copy of Das Kapital right over here. I can read a verse or two.
Yeah, we touched on promotion relegation, obviously, but now in your new work situation with your newsletter, Tactics Free Zone, is there a type of article or a type of coverage that you've wanted to do that you're now able to do now?
So I think stuff like that will eventually come out, like big picture speculating about the future of the league, what the league as a whole can do differently to make it, you know, frankly more attractive to television audiences, because obviously that's the nut that MLS is yet to crack. And that's something that understandably I was never going to write on the league website and was never going to write anywhere while I was employed by the league. And they have relieved me of that burden. So like at some point I'll probably do that. But for now, like, man, you know, you guys have the illness as well. It's terminal. You love MLS, you're gonna watch it, and you want to cover it like a league that deserves respect. And that's always been, you know, that's my raison d'etre. Like that's what I want to do. And that so I'm just gonna take everything I've been doing for 15 years at MLS soccer and bring it over to tacticsfreezone.com. And it's gone, you know, it's gone well so far. I got to make fun of the All-Star game a little bit. That's something I couldn't do before.
There you go.
Will we ever see an East versus West All-Star game?
I don't.
Well, I guess with the divisions, no, I suppose.
Yeah,
but there's enough. I guess my point is there's enough stars in the league now, right?
Yeah, but I want to stress this, all right, because this is really important. I don't care.
I
care about the All-Star game at all.
This has been a you know, I've covered All-Star games. They're fun. They tend to be more from. It's been a while since I've been to one, but they were one of the moments on the American soccer calendar. And I know this is, you know, inside baseball for people, when the few of us that got a chance to cover soccer got together. I don't know if I ever ran into you at one, Matt. I don't think you traveled for a ton of them that I remember.
No, I did not.
Yeah, okay. No, maybe now, who knows? But obviously, like the value of the exercise. I'm with Matt on this. Like, why are we doing this? What's the point anymore? You know, who is this for? Right? You know, it's sponsor service, it's partner service. It's not in the service of soccer. And so you talked about, you know, briefly there, making the league more attractive on television. I think about this a lot, Matt, because, you know, there are people who want to use the league's television ratings, or now I guess whatever you think they're doing on Apple, or what they were previously doing on Apple with MLS Season Pass, as a cudgel. And those are typically the people who I guess don't want to see MLS succeed. I don't really understand that attitude, by the way. If you're American, why do you want MLS to fail? But what is there a way to do that? Because you know, it's kind of a weird world to try to make your way as a sporting enterprise on television that isn't already established.
Yeah, and I have friends who work in like second, third tier leagues, and I don't mean soccer leagues. I mean like sports leagues around the world, and they're all trying to figure out how to do this too. Right? There's no, like, the Champions League, Premier League, NFL, NBA have such a stranglehold on, like, in a lot of ways they're the only remnants left of the monoculture, the old, you know, pre-internet, pre-social media monoculture, and cracking that is, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's proving to be really, really hard. Formula One might have figured it out 8 years ago when they launched Drive to Survive. You know, there's a few other indicators, like, you know, Major League Baseball over the past year, I know, has had a resurgence, but it's few and far between.
Well, but so in those cases, not to get, sorry, I get multiple audio going on here, but in those cases, don't you think that there's there's circumstances that, I don't know that the Drive to Survive thing is long lasting, or if it's kind of a quick hit of you know, interest that kind of dissipates. I was thinking about UFC. Like, I was kind of saying for a while that UFC was the last new sport to sort of enter the zeitgeist in the mainstream, but even the UFC doesn't seem to be quite what it was 10 years ago in terms of general mainstream sports interest. And I know we're also so disparate in where we're getting our information, and we're also in our own little bubbles, that I don't even know if I trust myself to understand what's in the mainstream anymore.
Yeah, I think that's well put, and I feel the same way. And maybe that's a product of us being middle-aged white guys. You know, like we're not finger on the pulse types, I guess. But no, I feel the same way about.
But we have the
UFC.
Money, Matt. I mean, well, some of us do. We're the ones that drive all the sponsors. Let's be honest about that.
Right. And you know, NASCAR came and went, kind of, and like, I guess they're bouncing back a little bit, but it's not what it was. It's there's no path, there's no clear path, and it's going to be a lot of trial and error. And I know that people have their thoughts about where MLS has come down on the trial or the error part of it regarding the Apple TV partnership.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so with a couple minutes left with you and only a couple days until the Major League Soccer regular season kicks off, obviously there's the front runners, the Inter Miami's the reigning champions, and the LAFC's obviously pushing forward. What are some of the teams or storylines that we should keep an eye out for as the last season under the current calendar begins?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the two of the teams that are going to kind of run away with it this year in Inter Miami and LAFC. The other team that I kind of have in that tier is Vancouver, who were excellent last year. And they got a full year of Thomas Mueller and hopefully fewer injuries. I guess I should plug my newsletter. I have my annual Tiers of MLS column coming out tomorrow on tacticsfreezone.com.
Yay!
Yeah. It's that, but it's, I mean, honestly, there aren't the big grabby stories beyond that. It's like, oh, did this team improve incrementally? Can Bruce Arena fix the Quakes? Can Tata Martino fix Atlanta United? There hasn't been as much storytelling around the rest of this stuff. And so it's, I'm not going to say barren. I think it's just a little bit harder to follow. And it's not helped by the fact that so few of the preseason games were actually streamed anywhere. I don't have, I'm picking the brains of people I know around like the Colorado Rapids right now. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going back to writing about the Colorado Rapids, and like I'm fighting to find clips and to find, firsthand accounts and all of that.
Doesn't help that their head coach is 29 years old or whatever.
Yeah, right.
No resume. That's the thing. Like, well, I mean, a resume to get him this job, but can I ask you? So in that vein, and now, you and I have had a little back and forth behind the scenes where I said, my lane got shifted, and because I used to be very focused on MLS, and I haven't been able to do that in a couple of years, and I would like to this year. I've already got my Apple TV subscription. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna get my subscription to Tactics Free Zone and stay informed. Can Chicago be relevant? I mean, we're talking about their stadium on this show a lot because that's so exciting, and that's I don't want that to be the only story around Chicago, though.
Yeah. I think Greg Berhalter is doing good work to sort of rebuild that whole organization, which it needed. And he's fast-tracked some kids through the academy, sold Brian Gutierrez and all that. Might get Lewandowski this summer. I would frankly be surprised if they didn't. So like that's going to be a story. But it still feels like they're trying to unwind 15 or 18 years of really bad work over the course of 18 months. And that's really, really hard anywhere. So they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to be less gappy than they were last year. Like they're going to be more defensively solid. They went out and got that Swedish midfielder specifically for that job. But maybe a little bit less fun, maybe a little bit less attacking punch. And that's probably the right trade-off to make, even though you maybe knock them down your league pass rankings a little bit.
Yeah. Man, as 30 teams. Ugh, so tough. I don't know how you're doing this, Matt. Come on.
I have no other hobbies. Come on.
All right.
What's the tipping point in the Vancouver situation? When is enough and MLS moves on from there?
I honestly have no insight into that. My guess, it feels like all these announcements are them negotiating with the city in public. And I'm hoping that, because look, I'm a Hartford Whalers fan. And 30 years and my heart is still broken. Like you don't get over losing your team, seeing your team moved out of town. And I hope that Caps fans have already been through it once with the Grizzlies in the NBA 25 years ago. And I'm hoping they don't have to suffer through that again.
Yeah. All right. Matt, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Yeah, everybody go subscribe to Tactics Free Zone, support Matt now that he is independent. Obviously, we should mention Kickback Media and Soccer Wise and the whole family over there, where Matt's part of that crew now.
Thank you, Matt.
Working hard, just like you guys. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Matt Doyle, really good stuff. Thank you so much.